Welcome to Office Hours. I'm Steve Dross. With me, as always, Will Kaplan. Of course, Will and I, both from the Quivr CRM team. Now, what is Quivr? Simple. We are the CRM built by financial advisors for financial advisors, where we try to help you run your business at peak efficiency. Now, each episode, we tackle a couple of cool items that came directly from our users who are trying to do just that, make their lives easier. Now, Will, I will confess, today's topic is not from Office Hours. We just got back from a conference, and every other vendor had the word AI in their name, right? We walked the exhibitor hall, every single AI this, AI this, AI this. And I remember when me and you we were decompressing after an awesome day of chatting with users and potential users. I was overwhelmed by the amount of new AI tools on the market.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in, and they all it almost feels like now they're all doing like a little bit of slightly different stuff. But I think that it's important to also know that like underneath it, you've still got a lot of the same technology that's driving it. And so, yeah, I mean, you're right. Walking up and down the lanes at the conference, it was just like, oh, there's another one. Yep, there's one. Okay, they're doing it too. And wait, here's one that I didn't think did it, but now they're doing it. Like it was a lot.
And I'll be honest, like I use AI, but I was also overwhelmed by the AI tools out there. And the conclusion that I came to is yes, AI is super powerful. Yes, it can save you a ton of time. But at the same time, we can't just, in my opinion, just start picking tools without knowing exactly what we're trying to solve for. So today, what I want to do is a couple of things. The first one is identify when we think you should utilize AI. And then two, maybe compare and contrast AI to something that you love, just templated work. Does that seem like a good way to approach this topic?
Yeah, and I think we should also put like a little disclaimer on here that like this is just a point in time, like the water is flowing down this river, and so it's always different. But like as of today, the middle of I guess like early fall in 2025, this is where we are with this stuff. And so this is what we're seeing. This is where we're seeing value. This is where we're seeing like, hey, maybe we should still be a little cautious about this. But it's coming from a place of where we always are, which is just trying to help users and trying to not only run our own practice as well, but like help other people run their practice as well. So just be mindful, like this conversation, this technology changes quickly. This is where we are as of today, but tomorrow might look a little different too.
But I do think the philosophy on when to adopt what, I do think that'll remain applicable. So when we look at, should we adopt AI? Should we look for a tool? The first thing I would recommend you do, and maybe you agree with this, Will, is just like most people know I'm a big whiteboarder. I have a huge whiteboard over my left shoulder right now. And if there's something that I like to map out what I need to do, and I would recommend you whiteboard or map down things that just aren't going very smoothly. Maybe for example, your meeting follow-up is taking you 2 hours. It shouldn't be taking you 2 hours. If it's taking you that long to follow up for a meeting, then I would suggest you go identify 3 AI note-taking tools and you go explore those. Does that seem appropriate, Will?
Yeah, I think it's really important to be careful of I need this new technology because my buddy's using it or everybody's talking about it or it was on every other booth at this particular conference was related to it. Like if you don't have a problem and you're just bringing in a tool, you're probably not going to have a great time. You have to identify kind of like what is this supposed to do for me first? And then what am I hoping to get from it as well? And I think that's also a dangerous topic here with AI because there's a lot of like, it's magic. It's just going to fix this stuff. And that's not always the case.
Yeah. And then the alternative, right, to what you just alluded to and what we were talking about with follow-ups. I mean, there are a lot of AI note takers. I use one. I've tested. Well, I used to say I tested all of them, but not a chance have I tested them all anymore because there's a new one coming out every other day. But let's look at meeting prep. And this is an interesting one because meeting prep is something that a lot of people take quite a bit of time on. And obviously, I'm biased. Obviously, I might be a little bit of an outlier here, but I would argue that meeting prep shouldn't take an hour per client. It should take drastically less time. And with that, Will, right, we mentioned the idea of templates. I could, if I wanted to, utilize AI for my meeting prep, or I could create a very good template, which inside of Quivr is essentially the meeting module, right? And you have a really interesting take on this when it comes to the AI for meeting prep versus a template that consists of the exact data that you're looking for.
Well, and like, I think this is one of those places where people are hoping for the magic wand because what they're dealing with is they've got a bunch of data and it's probably just notes. And because it didn't get organized on the way into the system, now when they're trying to get it back out of the system, it's like, this is pretty painful. And so I think this is sort of looking to solve that. I've got a bunch of notes and I need to pull out information from it. Whereas you could also fix the same problem by just saying like, okay, here's, and I'll use some AI terms. Here's the 3 or 4 prompts that I want. As I'm saving that data, I need to pull that stuff out to the front so that when I'm going back to look for it later, when I'm doing a templated driven system, I'll find it. And, we've had the conversation that kind of goes around this multiple times, which is like, if you feed AI the same input data, are you going to get the same output data? And, I think you're probably a better expert, given that you're now using some of these tools with your practice. I don't think the answer is yes. And that's concerning because like if you're expecting this to go back through all of your notes and create these summaries, your hope would be that either the prompts are detailed enough or that that it will do that. And I don't know that that's really what it's designed to do, to give you that sort of like, it finds the same answer every time. I don't, that's kind of not how it
No,
works.
and in fact, most of these note-taking tools, and again, I'm not bashing them. I use an AI note taker for after meetings. They have a button that allows you to rerun it. So it takes that transcript or that video and it creates you a new output, which, I mean, that's a great feature, but I think it's also these AI tools identifying the fact that their first run might not be what you're looking for. It might not be good enough. So we want to give you the ability to rerun it. And now when I'm looking at my AI notes from after a meeting, the biggest thing I'm doing is briefly scrubbing it to make sure that I don't forget any action items. To me, that's the most important thing. I still handwrite, or not handwrite, but type my meeting summaries that we then send to clients because again, like I want it to be templated because future me, when I'm preparing for the next meeting, if it's templated and in my exact fashion, I'm going to be significantly more efficient when I'm preparing for the next meeting. And that right there is why I actually do not use the AI note taker for meeting prep, because with my meeting notes from the prior meeting and the meeting module that's displaying all of the information that I want, I don't need another tool to do that because that work has been templated. So me, for example, when I saw all those AI tools, and a lot of them do say we can help you prepare for meetings faster. And I'm not saying they can't. I'm sure they can do a great job, but that is not a business problem for me. I don't know anybody that prepares for meetings faster than me. So why would I want to try to find an AI tool to save me 16 seconds or potentially save me a minute? It's just not worth it. Therefore, whiteboard your issue and then go find a solution, whether that's something that's at a Quivr that can be templated, or if it's utilizing a non-AI tool, right? Like one-page plans. People are utilizing the Opero and the cloud files and other document generation tools. Well, that's not AI, that's templates. Now, if you want something like a chat bot that can communicate with your Quivr data, well, Altruist just, rolled out Hazel, which they purchased Meet Time, and we loved the Meet Time guys. So that's really exciting for us. But like, that's a tool that you can utilize. And yes, technically that is AI. I don't know. That's I'll get off my soapbox now, but I can't express this enough. When we left that conference, I was overwhelmed. And if I was overwhelmed, I'm a tech enthusiast. Obviously, I love this stuff. I live in it every single day. I can't imagine what somebody who maybe isn't as interested in technology felt. But
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen that from a lot of our users where people are coming to us and saying like, "Hey, I use this tool, or I'm already using this tool, and how does it work with Quiver? And is this the one I should be using? And if I'm thinking about adopting Quiver, which one should I adopt as well?" And like, unfortunately, we don't have a really simple answer there because one, they're still doing different things. And two, we're not really to the point where we have strong confidence in like, if this is a chatbot running in your system and you ask it a question, you get a response. If you then ask it the same question, are you going to get the same response? And that's something just to be mindful of. I mean, that's how these tools are designed to work. They're predictability units, right? Like what's the next word in the sentence? It's not always going to do the math the same way. And so you may not get the results you're expecting. And that's that to me, that amps up my anxiety. That doesn't reduce my anxiety. So like, yeah, I think it's important to understand the technology. I think it's important to understand what the limitations are. Again, this is just like a moment in the river, right? So like it's going to change. I know it is, algorithms get tweaked and this technology evolves, but like, I feel like that's kind of where we are today.
yeah. Yep. But no, that's a wrap. Good stuff today, as always, Will. If you're a Quiver user, remember, join us on Wednesdays. Come hang out. Let's do office hours where we have philosophical conversations like this. And I'll be honest, like we have tighter integrations with specific AI tools. We're happy to explain those, why we have them, what objectives or what problems they potentially solve. So while we might have said today, AI is not perfect, there is still value to be had. We just have to make sure that we go find it in an appropriate fashion. If you're not a Quiver user, that is okay. Everybody makes mistakes, but remember, it's not too late. Schedule a demo, come hang out with me, come hang out with Will, and see what Quivr can do in your practice for you.